Welcome back, students. This is Dr. Obsidia. Today I'm letting you know about a sale that's on Humble Bundle. We're going to take a look at some of the things they have to offer. This is the humblebundle.com, their main page. On their main page, they do have a little bit of information about the bundles that they have available. There is the Ashes of Singularity Escalation. It is free, so if you jump on there, you've got a very short time, about a day left before that's gone. You can grab that. There's 12 days left on the Steam sale. There's quite a few games on there that are pretty good this time. The Humble Choice is okay. If you haven't got the games, that are their primary games. It's really a good deal, I think. You can see a link in the description below of this video, and then you can find a referral link for Humble Bundle, the Humble Choice, and then if you use that referral link, it gives me a little bit of money for referring you. You don't have to, but if you'd like to support me a little bit and some of the games I play, I do get a lot of my games on Humble Bundle. They are a charity website, so some of the money that you spend does go to charity. And if you choose the bundles, you can choose how much of your money goes to charity as well. Humble Choice here, you can subscribe and you can see some of their past games that they do. Every month they give you an option to get some games. There's different plans. You get the light plan just to get access to their trove. Their basic plan, $15 a month. You can choose 3 games every month, and about 3 games is pretty much some of their A quality games. And they've got some other stuff. If you get up to 9 games every month if you spend $20. And like I said, this does somewhat go to charity, so it is a good option, I think. And then you'd have to create an account and so on to be able to do that. So let's see if we can back up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, going back to the bundles, if you take a look at some of the bundles they have, these are always available, so keep an eye on these. They keep coming and going. They have books that are good. You can see some of the books they have, the Warhammer series. They've got Dungeons and Dragons books that you can download and read. When you do this, you pay $1 and you can unlock all of these books. And then if you pay $8 US or more, get some more. And of course, $15 even more. And once you do that, you support various charities. If you make an account, you can so change which charities you support. You can also tell how much money you want to go to charities and so on. They also have the software bundles where there's for the film creators in this case here, comics, and they have the game bundles. If you join in and you want to join in on these game bundles, there's quite a few. Oh, here we go. Quite a few games that come up. Small World's good. I enjoy the board game. I'm sure that these are the various board game style that have been ported over to PC. I do like Small World a lot. Mysterium I heard is pretty good. I haven't played it. And Scythe was a Kickstarter board game that has turned into a PC game, and I heard that it's pretty good on PC as well. You can check those out. They're always up. They're always good deals. And if you're interested in some of the games in those, like I said, you can send your money to charity. It does go automatically, but you can make it as high as you want. If we go to the store page, we have the actual sale now. Of course, you got your Ashes of Singularity for free. Jump on that while you can. And then this is their featured games here. You can see the percentage off. Of course, if you have the Humble Choice, my advice is get Humble Choice first, pay for that, and then I think they give you an additional 10% off. I definitely subscribe to the Humble Choice, so I do get the 10% off of everything. So it's 10% on top of this for most of the stuff. I think up to 10%. It could be sometimes a little less. Okay. Going through some of these, of course, Civilization 6, 60% off here. This has got the Platinum Edition, includes all the DLC, all the expansions. It's a good time to get into Civ 6 if you haven't got it. It's a little bit high. You can actually get the DLC and things if you don't want them right away. You might be able to get the base game a little bit cheaper. And then here you go, 70% off the base game. So jump on the base game. If you like it, then you can, of course, get the expansion as the price comes down in the future. But if you definitely are a Civ 5 player, you're interested in Civilization, it's a good investment. I mean, that's $120. You're saving 60% on a really good game that has a lot of hours of play. And I usually try to go for about $1 an hour, and then I know I got a pretty good deal on it. Assassin's Creed is always a fun third-person game. Highly recommend it. 67% off for the one of the newer versions of it. I've never heard of Parkitect, but you can check it out if you're interested. Tomb Raider, of course, a classic game that's really good. They've got a lot of different versions of it. Destiny, Streets of Rage, PC building simulator. If you're interested in building your own PC and you don't want to screw it up, that might be a good place to start. XCOM Chimera Squad just came out. You missed out on the 50% off for pre-purchase. The price will come down. If you're not into the XCOM series yet, I highly recommend starting with XCOM 1. You can see my Long War playthrough. It's much easier than I made it look because I was using a mod. But Chimera Squad is kind of a side story, more linear type missions, and linear story with the characters that you get is much more linear rather than the roguelike version that is XCOM that we're accustomed to. But it's still good. I would still recommend getting it. I don't know if I would get it with the full price because, on the but if you're interested in it and you don't have it and you want to get it, I definitely recommend supporting the company. However, a lot of times they go on sale very early and you can get maybe 10, 15, 20% off within the next month or so, I think. Especially with the Steam summer sale coming up too. They Are Billions looks very interesting. I haven't got into it yet. It is on my wish list. I'm looking forward to playing that. You might want to check it out. Basically, it's an RTS. You build a community settlement. You're trying to defend against endless waves of enemies, zombies in this case, coming in. It's a hopeless scenario, but you just keep trying to build up and defend the whole time. So it's not so much a tower defense game, more like building a base and trying to defend it. Hollow Knight, Cuphead. Of course, XCOM 2, War of the Chosen is DLC. The Humble Choice this time has the Jurassic World, I think, which is a kind of a park theme building game. And I haven't played it, but it's on my Humble Choice, so I'm going to get it. And then XCOM 2 plus DLC. So if you're going to get the Humble Choice, and I highly recommend getting XCOM 2 if you've got XCOM 1, or it's a good opportunity to just get the XCOM 2 complete package at this time, because you can also get the War of the Chosen for 67% off too. Really good deal, really great game. If you're going to get it, get XCOM 2 and War of the Chosen at the same time, because they are the same campaign. It just adds to the campaign. So your first playthrough, you can play with all the expansions installed and everything. It makes a really great experience. Okay, and then we can look down here. Of course, there's some other Bethesda, Rockstar sales, and so on. And then we can see some of the other stuff they're offering here. Witcher, the TV show is really good. I heard Witcher 3 is great. I haven't played it yet. It's on my library. I need to get into it. I've never actually finished Witcher 2, so I'm going to go back and finish that before I start 3. I really loved the TV show on Netflix. It was great. I'm looking forward to season 2. And of course, you got your Assassin's Creeds here. Darkest Dungeon, 60% off. This is a little bit, the Ancestral Edition, a little bit higher price version. I don't know if I would recommend starting with this one. You can if you want. Right here you can see the actual Darkest Dungeon. It's only $7.50. This is probably where you would want to start with it. It's 70% off. It's a great game. If your English is your native language or you're really good at English, the poetic nature of this game is really good. I enjoyed just the narration when you're playing. It's kind of comic booky. It doesn't have really flashy graphics, but the strategy level is not so deep that you can't get into it. But it is a hard game. It does make you think, makes you plan ahead. And of course, when you get good at it, and it is hard to beat as it is, once you get good at it, you can start adding in the other stuff as well. That's what I've done, and I really enjoyed my experience with it. I've never actually finished it. It is a hard game, but I constantly go back to it and play it, and it's fun if you like that kind of game. Going back to the store here, I think. Okay, going on then. Of course, you can pre-order if you like. Pre-ordering from Humble Bundle is a good deal since, of course, if you pre-order, you support charity as well. Grand Theft Auto is coming down, Grand Theft Auto 5, so it's getting lower and lower. I've seen some good deals for it. This is one of them. Banished is an older game, only $6.80. It's a fun RTS-style game. Again, you're kind of starting out with nothing and building up a community and trying to support your people. so that they survive. So if you like those kind of survival-based games with no real enemies other than the environment, I highly recommend this game. I enjoyed it a lot. I played around 20 hours of it, really worth the price. And I could play more. There's a lot of stuff on the workshop too. Skipping through some here. Kerbal Space Program, if you is 75% off. Good deal if you're into building, things and rockets and things like that. You build it and then you test it, and you can go to other planets. And it does teach you a lot about physics and what the actual space program has to go through. You can even set it up so it has a little campaign with a budget and things like that. You start out with basically nothing. If you start out in the campaign style, and you have to work your way up through proving yourself and doing research. It's really fun trying to get the Kerbals onto other planets, going into space, rendezvousing with stuff in space, making space stations. It is not necessarily an easy game to play, but if you like building and you like designing things, I highly recommend it. You're going to love it. It does have a little bit of a graphic challenge, so if you've got a low-end PC, it might be a little harder to run, but you can knock the settings down. Just make sure you check the minimum specs. Of course, Fallout 4's Season Pass is available, and Fallout 4 has really good gameplay, and the Season Pass gives you access to everything. Skipping through a little bit, let's see. FTL is an old game. You can get it very cheaply right now, $2.50. If you like these styles of games, you might be very interested in it. It's kind of a Star Trek-y game. There's not a whole lot to it. As you can see here, I'll show you a screenshot here. There's not a whole lot of difficulty to it as far as trying to learn it and figure it out. But, just like in Star Trek, you have to switch your power ratings around, move your crew around to deal with different problems. There may be a hull breach, you have to have somebody fix it, but there's no oxygen. You have people board your ship, and then you can lock them out and open up doors to the space, and they'll lose air and oxygen. And then you're just trying to move through this whole giant campaign map to get to the end and then beat the final boss. And it's not easy to do. There are a lot of random events, and you can keep playing. It has a high replayability. You do unlock other ships and things. Very fun little game. I put a lot of hours into it. It's just something you play on the side, especially if you don't have a very strong system. It's a really great game to play. Highly recommend it, especially for only $2.50. You'll probably put at least more than a couple hours into that if you're into those kinds of things. Scrolling down a little bit more here, of course, you've got some of your sports stuff here, like the F1, Men of War 2, Assault Squad. I liked Men of War a lot, but you really need to have somebody to play with. If you don't have somebody to play against, I'm not sure that the single player is that good. But if you do have somebody who's into those kinds of RTS style World War II games, or a few people actually, you'd probably have a pretty good time with this. Wasteland 2, pretty good game. For $15, check it out if you're into those kinds of Old West style, strategy RTS style games. Let's see here. Phantom Doctrine came off of as a sort of an XCOM style of game. It didn't do as well in the reviews. It is a different kind of play style. So check it out if you're interested in XCOM. I'm not saying it is XCOM. It is definitely different. I do have it. I've watched a lot of the playthroughs and things, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. I still feel like XCOM is XCOM, and I'm kind of an XCOM guy, so I will get to it eventually. Let's see down here. The Trails of Cold Steel. This series is rated as one of the best stories for RPG games that has been in recent years. So if you've never heard of it and you like Final Fantasy and games sort of like the Final Fantasy Tactics or the Final Fantasy style of story and things like that, that genre of games, I heard that the world is just really amazing. Get started with the first one. You can go back and look online and see they've got a whole bunch of them. Make sure you get the first one and start going through it. When you start the first one, it's very slow start, so you just got to grind through it. But once you get going and get into the story, it's really great. Let's see, scrolling down a little bit here. War for the Overworld is 75% off. If you are interested in those kinds of Dungeon Keeper style games, I heard that War for the Overworld is pretty good. And actually, I have played it, so it is good. I'm not going to say I heard. I actually did play it. It is enjoyable for $8. Well, $7.50. You can't beat that price. More Assassin's Creeds and Hitman. Never go wrong with Hitman. State of Decay is one that kind of slips under the radar. Year 1 Survival Edition. There is a State of Decay 2 now. For $7.50, you can get the original one. I guess they're pretty similar. If you like those zombie survival games, third person, running around, shooting, dealing with zombies, it's a pretty fun game. Check it out. Battlestar Galactica Dreadlock does have some expansion. I think there's an expansion to it now. And I've heard really good things about this if you're into tactical space combat or the Battlestar universe. You might want to look into this one, especially for $14. I bet you can get a pretty good deal on the DLC as well. Rolling down through, I think we're getting a little bit close to the bottom here. See NBA, of course, if you're into NBA style games. Here's more Darkest Dungeon DLC. We've already seen those. And then down here is the old Fallout games. You actually could get those probably cheaper than 50% off for the older stuff. They do get good deals occasionally that come out. I do have a Let's Play through for Bomber Crew. Cute little game where you manage a bomber. It's more arcadey than anything else. You fly around and manage your crew, put them at different stations. You know, they can get injured. But if you're into that, check out on my channel. You'll see a few videos I have put up for that. It's an enjoyable little game. I use a controller for that, so it makes it easier to play. 70% off, good deal. We're getting to the bottom here. An old game, Overlord, only $2.50. Again, if you have a controller, that's a pretty fun game. It's one where you're the bad guy and you control these minions to solve little puzzles and fight for you. But you can also help them and fight as well. That's a pretty cute little story. I liked it. I played it completely through and enjoyed it quite a while ago, actually. But especially if you have an older system, it should run just fine on there. Okay, so that is the spring sale on Humble Bundle. Of course, there's going to be more available, so you can check out all the different stuff they have here. Some of their top popular things, their new things as well. A little bit discount on some of their new stuff. Check out some of their popular things, and maybe if you're interested in buying a specific game, you can always search for it. Do make sure that you make an account and log in so that they know your region, because sometimes things are available in only some regions, but if you try to buy it in your region, it might not be. This, I believe, is the U.S. store, but if you're international, definitely want to make sure that certain things are available before you try to buy it. Of course, they do support charity, so I highly recommend Humble Bundle as one of your go-to places to get things. It is very trustworthy. I've never had a problem with them, and I'm sure their customer service is quite good as well. So check out their sale before it ends. It ends on May 21st, and by Pacific time, it's American time, 10 a.m. So check that out and maybe pick up some games. Check out their bundles. You can always keep an eye on it. Bookmark it. Keep an eye on their bundles. Join their Facebook page because they do report the bundles. And they do some Let's Plays and stuff for their Humble Choice. So thanks for joining today. This is Dr. Obsidia. And I hope that you guys get some good games and enjoy your lockdown if you're in a situation like me where we can't go outside very well. Take care.